consoling someone, to medical emergencies. So what we decided tonight was that I would just tell you some of our recent success stories, and it's always fun, and just talk about that a little bit. So I'm just going to read from some of my notes. I picked out just a handful of cases from recent events. So these are all within the last month, so since our last meeting. On November 19th at 9:30 p.m., our officers were dispatched to 4130 Beard Avenue because somebody thought they saw someone suspicious. They weren't doing anything wrong, but they were wandering around near the party's garage and were only described as being a black male wearing a dark colored jacket with a black backpack. Nothing more than that, but not the point where the resident felt comfortable going out and saying, "Hey, what are you doing back here? This is my area." So definitely worthy of a 911 call and saying, "There's somebody out back. They're dressed in dark clothing. I don't know what they're doing." We had multiple officers come into the area, and because we had that call of the person being reported as suspicious, we had more probable cause to go up to that person and ask them, "What are you doing here? What is your name? What is your purpose?" And upon asking this gentleman some information, we observed that he was pretty fidgety. He was nervous. We ultimately got enough information from him that we decided that we were going to detain him. And when we did a pat down of him to have him have a seat in the back of the car, it was discovered that he had a crowbar inside of his jacket. He also had a black BB gun that looked like a real pistol. His front pocket jeans were full of change. That indicated to the officers that he'd probably been rummaging through some vehicles. Ultimately, this man was booked at the Robbinsdale Police Department for possession of burglary tools, motor vehicle tampering, criminal damage to property, and he was also taken into custody on an outstanding warrant for those same charges in other cities. The following morning, we had 4 additional reports of garage burglaries and thefts from autos. So an easy call for someone to make. There's someone outside. I don't know what they're doing. We go over there, figure it out, and we get someone bad off the streets. So that's a fun one. And that one's just from a couple weeks ago. Same kind of instance, 3615 Zenith. The reason I'm telling the addresses is because these are cases that are already done with, and to show you that it's not one area in town. Our calls for service are everywhere. So this first one was up near Sanborn Park. This next one is down south by Lakeview Terrace Park. Caller reports that there's a male walking down the street and they just heard glass break. That's it. But again, worthy of 911 call. Even if you don't know where the glass breakage came from, we'll come out, we'll go up and down the streets, up and down the alleys, check it out. When we came into the area, a few blocks down the road, we found a man sitting on the roadside crying. He was heavily intoxicated and was so upset that he decided to smash out the window of a car. So again, nothing big, nothing huge. Nobody's a major victim in this case, but a fact that, a simple 911 call saying, "This is what I've heard, somebody's out there," and us being able to catch up with someone that who knows what he might have done after crashing into that one window. This one's just kind of silly. It's not a fun story, but I think it goes to show the teamwork that I think we talk about a lot in regards to Crystal, New Hope, Golden Valley, Brooklyn Center, Minneapolis, all of us working together to help one another because we're all such small departments. So this is when it is not a good time to be a bad guy at North Memorial Hospital. So this again was on November 19th in the evening. These guys had a really, really busy shift. Officers were at North Memorial Hospital for 2 different groups of people that weren't getting along. One was the victim of a gunshot wound, the other one had shoulder pain. The incidents that led them to come to the hospital all happened in Minneapolis, but they didn't consider any of their business to be finished. So once they got some of their emergency situations taken care of, they decided that they needed to fight again. At 6 p.m. in the evening, that's when all of our cities in the area are at a shift change, which means they had double the coverage for about a half an hour there than we normally would. Females started fighting with one another. Then males and other family members started jumping in. A female reached for a handbag in which we later found a stolen pistol. Because of the time of day and our officers needing help from outside agencies, we had 14 squads from 5 different agencies, plus all of North Memorial Security, in the emergency room area, dealing with 2 fighting parties in about the span of 13 minutes. So huge just effort on everyone's behalf there. Multiple people went to jail for fighting, for assault, for being in possession of a pistol that they weren't allowed to have, and everyone went home safe, except for the one guy that had a hole in him, but they patched him up. All right, just 2 more. 3500 block of Indiana. This is another multi-agency response. So does anyone have trouble picturing that area? It's a really secluded area in town.
Very.
So it's right at 36th Avenue, where June, and then there's the train bridge, and then you have Halifax on the other side. Okay, so heavy woods there where the hockey park is. Our call first came in from Crystal Police Department that says, we have an elderly couple calling 911 and they're lost. Well, okay, where are they? Well, they're not sure if they're in Robbinsdale. They're not sure if they're in Crystal. They think they're on Halifax Avenue, but we went up and down Halifax Avenue and we can't find them. We don't know. Then we get a call from a resident on Indiana saying, I hear something. I don't know what it is. I heard a crash a little while ago, didn't think anything of it. Something's going on. So using, again, multiple agencies, we were finally able to locate this elderly couple. They were in their vehicle on the train tracks leading into Sahaki Park. So what had happened was that they got turned around right over here at 39th and a half Avenue and thought the railroad tracks were another road. And they ended up taking the railroad tracks from this intersection all the way down into Sahaki Park.
Annie, was this the white Cadillac?
Yes.
Yes, so I was driving home. I don't remember what we had that night, but I was driving home, and 2 of the cops were right outside Regan's house. And I pulled up and I gave them a hard time because they were like kind of blocking the door. I'm like, what do you guys think? You own the place? Like, what's going on? And one of them pulled up to me and he's like, hey, where are you coming from? I think we've been at Wicked Ward or something. And I said, oh, we just finished an event. And he goes, well, have you seen any white Cadillacs around? I said, no. And they said, well, we're looking for them, and we're concerned. And I had no idea what was going on. I was like, okay. And I had seen one cop go down Halifax. I said, well, I just saw one of the officers go down Halifax. I think I was talking to Crystal cops at that point. So I didn't know what had happened, but I put a post out there saying.
Okay, and this is too, because a lot of times half the story ends up on social media and people never know what happens. So this poor couple, it's silly and we can laugh about it now because A, they got home safe, and B, it's one of those stories that we deal with that you just simply can't make up. What was very concerning is the traffic we have on this rail line. We have a lot of traffic on our small train line. So immediately our officers contacted Canadian Pacific Railroad and were able to halt all trains that were coming through the area because this couple had driven so far down the train tracks, we're not even sure how they managed going over all those ties. One of the tow trucks attempted to go down the same route they had taken, and they couldn't do it. They didn't trust their truck going over all the bumps. What ended up happening is using our fire department, multiple agencies, we actually had to find a way through the woods and end up towing them up through the woods and through people's yards. So unfortunately there was a lot of property damage, there was some damage to some trees, but success story, everybody gets home safe. And again, just one of those things that you don't expect to deal with that pop up, and you can't make some of this up.